This week's video covers some sensitive topics, and I just want to make that clear that we're going to be talking about violence against LGBT people in the media, and that's something that you should be prepared for. This week in the New Yorker magazine, Jane Mayer did a very long piece on Vice President Mike Pence, and in there, the President, Donald Trump, said about Pence's views on homosexuality, hey, don't talk to this guy, he wants to hang them all. As abhorrent as that comment is and the joking manner in which he said it, the truth of the matter is that Mike Pence does feel very strongly against LGBT people, and he has for a very long time. And this has come through in things that he's written. I'm going to put some links down to some articles that he wrote back in the 1990s about how gay people are disease vectors and shouldn't be hired. And also, too, politically, he, went out on a limb in Indiana and signed an extremely harsh Religious Freedom Restoration Act bill in his home state. And this led to a tremendous uproar in the LGBT community and led to a lot of political backlash for him, and a lot of political commentators didn't think that he would survive this grueling test. And he's now the Vice President of the United States. Shortly after Mayer's article came out in the New Yorker, there was another article that surfaced about a poster that was placed around the campus of Cleveland State University where a rainbow figure was depicted hanging from a noose that said, "Follow your faggot friends," and contained a lot of statistics about LGBT suicide. The university president, Richard Berkman, responded to this initially with a, freedom of speech kind of response, which was met with another huge public uproar that this is, social and psychological harassment of LGBT students on campus, and the president then followed up with a second letter apologizing for his initial reaction and to host a conversation with students about the poster and about his response and about what they feel the university ought to be doing. And, this kind of stuff happens to queer people and has happened to queer people forever. We now live in another politically offensive time where people just think that it's cool or funny or okay to actively harass queer people for no goddamn reason, and to joke about it. As if, killing people is just a big laughing matter. And that, oh, sure, the vice president, oh, he hates those queers, he wants to hang them all. These are the kinds of things that you don't talk about at high levels of political and cultural institutions. You don't do that anymore, people. It's degrading and offensive to LGBT people to be put in a position where they literally have to defend their own lives, and to combat casual office jokes by extraordinarily powerful people. This is base level harassment shit. This is the kind of thing that any normal person in a human resources situation would be fired for doing or condoning in any reasonable fashion. And it blows my mind that we are in this position right now where it's just a joke again. It's not a joke. It's not a joke to want to threaten to kill LGBT people. It is not a joke to tell people to go kill themselves. Yes, LGBT people are more likely to commit suicide than other people, and this is because LGBT people exist in a context of perpetual psychological and social stress. This is an extremely violent society. And we are bombarded with messages like, oh, the vice president wants to hang queers, and, you know, people on our campus are telling us to go kill ourselves. These things build up. These things have an impact, and they lead to children as young as 8 and 9 and 10 taking their own lives because they cannot take this pressure. This does not need to exist. This level of psychological stress does not need to exist. And the people in the highest levels of power, these people, these presidents of universities, presidents of the fucking country, do not need to be making jokes like this, or condoning people for posting things like this. It does not need to happen anymore, okay? Cut the shit. One of the things that I did for a really long time was follow LGBT obituaries in newspapers like the Washington Blade and the Metro Weekly and the San Francisco Blade and all of these other places where you read about people who have died of HIV, AIDS, complications from other diseases, and also tremendous rashes of suicide and murder. LGBT people, particularly trans people, are very highly likely to be murdered in this country. And I kept a Pinterest page called Litany of the Dead for years, and I stopped doing it after this one year when there was a rash of about 12 or 15 young people who took their own lives. And I just couldn't bear to look at that anymore. It was too deeply and emotionally painful for me, a grown adult, to deal with. To see the names of these dead children whose sole thing was being bullied and harassed by people in positions of power over them. And taking their own life was the only way out that they saw. Kudos to those organizations that try to give people hope, you know, and that work in suicide prevention. I'm going to put a link, a bunch of links down in the crotch for those organizations, because people really do need to seek out help, especially when people in power don't want to help you anymore. There are people who are looking to help. There are people who will be there for you. And if anyone is watching this that needs help, please feel free to reach out to me or any of the other men of the Den. We are more than happy to talk to people about what they're going through. And if you are experiencing a problem, please do not turn to self-harm. Please look for someone, anyone else to help you, because people are there to help you. That's my video for this week, and I would like you all to please take a moment to reach out to your friends and to those young people that you may know and ask them how they're doing. When we see things like this around the news, and this week has been a really rough one in terms of political and social LGBT harassment news, we need to reach out to each other. So please take some time to reach out to the people that you care about and tell them that you care about them. I think that together we can really try to make this a really better place. But it starts by being better to each other and calling people on their bullshit. So call people on their bullshit and call your friends and tell them that you love them. I'll see you all next Friday. Take care. I love you. Be well. Peace.